Hi, this is Casey Biggs, Leggett Damar on Deep Space Nine, and you're listening to Comics Online. Comics Online. Wow,
Yep.
wow. And then what happened?
And then 25 years.
Did you find my tutu?
No.
Oh, man, I
No.
lost it. So, what's cooking?
Casey, so excited to celebrate everything Trek this weekend in Chicago.
Wow, yeah, me too.
I'd love to start off. What was your earliest memory of Star Trek?
Watching the original show when I was a kid. I mean, that was before Shatner turned into the Shatner that he is now, and I wanted to be William Shatner. I don't want to be him now, though. No, that was the original. I loved the original. Didn't watch anything after that. When I got the job on DS9, I hadn't watched Next Generation, so I didn't really know what the whole world was about. And I didn't know the world I was stepping into, for one thing, which is unbelievable, this world. I mean, all over the world. You know, did you see Trekkies 2, by the way? If you haven't, go watch it because I'm in it.
Okay.
But it's the one they shot when about the European fans. And I was over in Italy doing a convention. They said, can we interview you? And I said, yeah, sure. So I'm doing the interview there, and I'm talking about it. And I said, you know what's interesting is that 50 years from now, they're not going to be having Friends conventions or ER conventions. But 50 years from now, they will still be having Star Trek conventions. So that's how this permeated the culture and will continue to do so, I think.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your entry into the world of acting and entertainment. What drew you to be an actor?
Well, I can sing. I was always a singer when I was young. And I did shows in high school. And I was good at them. And I realized, you know what, I was on the football team, too. I said, I'm not going to be a professional football player, but I could be a professional actor. And I had some very good mentors, people who believed in me and said, if you want to go to be a professional, these are a few ways to go do it. And the best way is to go to a professional school. And I did. I went to Juilliard. I got into all the other ones. I went Carnegie Mellon and all that. But Juilliard was the best place because it was in New York, as far as I was concerned. And knock on wood, I haven't had to do anything else since.
Could you tell me a little bit about the casting process for Star Trek? What was it like for you?
Oh, for me, holy mackerel. I mean, come on, I thought I got a call to go in. So I show up at Paramount, and you walk into this room, and there's 50 guys sitting waiting to go in. And then I look at the sides, the stuff you have to read, and it's one line with 5 words. I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing here? I said, I went to Juilliard. They could have anybody do this. And the words were, they're in range, sir, fire. That was the audition, the whole audition.
You got it.
Well, I went in, and I read it. There's 12 producers there, and I said, well, they're in range, sir, fire. And they said, oh, that was so terrific. And I thought, who are these people? So I went home. I got a call from my agent, said, well, they loved you. They want to see you again tomorrow. So I went back the next day, and there were 5 guys instead of 30 guys. I went into the room, same 12 guys in there, people, producers. And they said, oh, that was such a great reading yesterday. And I'm thinking, who are these people? But little did I know that they had plans for this character. And even less that I knew that the executive, the showrunner, Ira Stephen Bear, a great guy, was a huge fan of this movie I did. It was the first dramatic IMAX film ever shot about the Alamo. It's called Price of Freedom. I walked in the room, and I didn't know it, but I had the job the moment I walked in the room because he had seen that. So that's what that was like. And it was one show. I thought it was going to be literally just one show. I turned up to be, the leader of the Empire by the end.
It was an incredible journey for
The arc
Damar.
was great. The arc was great.
I'm curious to know, just as far as all the sets, I love production stories.
Right.
There were some incredible sets for DS9.
Huge.
What was your favorite part of the sets, or just something that stands out to you from a production perspective?
Well, one of the things that pops into mind, I mean, there was a huge arc of shows where we took over the whole station. I mean, when I got the job, I had no idea that it was a Cardassian space station to begin with. I had no idea that that's what it was. And but Mark Alimo as Ducat and Jeff Combs and I, we basically took over the station for like 6 whole episodes. And one day we were on that thing, and they had about 200 extras and tons of makeup artists and all these things. And walking, I thought, my goodness, this is just an extraordinary set. But the funny thing is, the day after the show wrapped, the close, after 7 years, that whole thing was gone, completely gone, like as if it didn't exist before. But that's to me what I remember the most about it.
It was tragic that DS9 never got the movie treatment. That
we were the dark horse, you know. We were the bastard child of the series, which was good because it allowed the writers to do whatever the heck they wanted, and I think created much more interesting storylines. I mean, we had huge story arcs. A lot of the other shows were, you know, bad alien of the week kind of thing, and we didn't do that. We had a whole arc. Ira and the writers, they loved the recurring characters. We were like the repertory theater company of that thing. So they wrote great stuff for us. You know, you look at what's Andy Robinson and Mark Alimo and Jeff Combs and me, and I mean, they just wrote great stuff for these characters. So it's good.
I've met many of them over the years. It's always been a pleasure. So I would also love to hear about the makeup process. The Cardassian makeups seem to be a very elaborate amount of time that would have to go through. What was that like for you?
Well, the thing that I had never done anything with such heavy makeup. And these guys were true artists, these makeup artists, just unbelievable. And, you know, it was a 3-hour process for me, 4 in the morning to be ready by 7, and then it takes an hour to get out of. But some people couldn't stand it. I never had a problem with it myself. I mean, I had 9 pieces on my face. And but it's interesting because you just sit there, and what you have to really trust is to let the makeup do the work. Because if you try to act past the makeup, that's bad acting. I mean, you can tell people who don't know what they're doing with that. But it was a gift, actually. It was a gift.
Jeff told me a little bit about the Rat Pack event tonight. I'm very excited to come and see it. Tell me about how you guys collaborate. What's your musical style? Like, how do you guys work together from a musical
what's interesting about it, because Vaughn Armstrong and I and Steve Rankin, who was in the show too, we had another band called the Enterprise Blues Band. Because what we realized is that the fans really, really enjoy to see other aspects of what you do, and it's more interesting for us than just showing up and doing photo ops and signing autographs. So it's when Lolita Faccio, who is our manager, came up with this idea with Max Grudenchik and I and Vaughn and Jeff and Ethan Phillips, and because Max is brilliant. He took all of these old American Songbook, Rat Pack songs like, That's Life and all these great things, and rewrote the lyrics to fit into the whole Star Trek world. And we have been doing this show for 14 years in Vegas, and the fans just absolutely love it. And we finally recorded it last year after the Vegas show. We went into a studio and recorded the whole show, and it came out fantastic. And for those of you who are listening who aren't here and want to buy the CD, go to StarTrekRatPack.com. You can get it on there. And it's just terrific. It gives you a real flavor of what the live show was like. So we're all very proud of it. And I wrote a bunch of the music. Max wrote a bunch. Jeff Combs wrote a bunch of the music. And, we're all in tuxedos or having cocktails and telling jokes and having a blast on stage.
Well, I'm a musician and do musical comedy myself, so I definitely have an appreciation for what you guys do, and truly excited to get to experience that tonight.
Oh, you're going to have a blast, because we do.
Any other shows coming up?
For Star Trek
Yes.
shows? Oh, yeah. We're going to be in Secaucus in November, I think the weekend of November 8th, and that weekend after that in Dallas, and then in San Francisco in January. And the cruise, we're doing another. This will be my 7th Star Trek cruise, the end of February. Those are a blast. If anybody has, if you have a chance to go on those days, go. It's a blast. And I think we're going to be in Orlando. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them coming up, which is great. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, thank you for sharing yourself and your music and just your experiences with the fans.
My pleasure.
It's always a joy.
Glad to be here.